In the most recent Pokemon Legends ZA game that just got released, here are my top 10 Pokemon games. What's going on, everyone? Wolfson here, and today we're going to discuss about the top 10 favorite Pokemon games that I've ever played in the course of my 30 years I've been playing this game. 1995? No, Pokemon 96. Wow, almost 30 years. Wow, I am old. Anyways, in light of the new Pokemon Legends ZA, which I'm fairly enjoying it, and it's somewhere in my top 10 so far. Yes, it made it there despite other people's complaint about it. I'd say let haters be haters, and we can talk about the review of the Legends ZA on another video. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want me to talk about it. But I'm just gonna talk about all the games that I've played up to now, including the original and the remakes. And some of the remakes I might combine it with the originals, or maybe I could just say like I like the remake version than the original because of certain aspects that were added. Needless to say, some of the games I choose it very fairly, and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely enjoyed some of these games. And then some of them are like, they're not gonna be on the list. Like Sun and Moon. I don't care what anybody says. Sun and Moon was that generation, that game, even the sequels, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that was not peak level Pokemon. Far from it. And anybody thinks that Sun and Moon or the Sun and Moon series of that gen was peak level Pokemon, you get the bottom.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because there's no chance in heck that Sun and Moon was amazing. Like far from it. That game should be like a side, like how they did Legends. Have us try this new method instead of forcing us to like, oh yeah, this is how the game's gonna look. It was so childish and it was so boring. And I get that the target audience were children. Yes, every Pokemon game is definitely dedicated to children, except for Legends. Like the Legend series is definitely for your casual and Pokemon fan base that are all adults, because it's really hard and the mechanics are really hard, both Arceus and like ZA. So Sun and Moon, sure, it could be for children, but overall it was just not a good fit. Few typings here and there, few Pokemons that were very good and good designs. But overall, it was just not a good thing. It wasn't. But we can talk about that on another video, saying my top hot takes of the worst Pokemon games ever built and created. Let me know in the comments below if you want that hot stick. So, without further ado, let's get down to the nitty gritty, all right? So, let's start with number 10. Number 10, I have to say, this was a very hard one to put in all the way to 10, because I'd say like, wait a minute, there's 9 generational Pokemons and 2 Legends, so it's like 11. Who's gonna be there in the number 10? I said, all right, I gotta give it to this. My top 10 is definitely Pokemon's Platinum version. Yes, despite Gen 4, I did not like Gen 4 at all. I feel like it was just a bad design overall. I did not like some of the Pokemon designs, like the majority of them. However, it introduced us to certain new typings, like, all the starters have all dual typings, which is Fire, Infernape, Torterra, and Napoleon. I feel like you did not go wrong with any of these starters. That's a good step in the direction. And as well, it also gave us like a more extensive lore to the Pokemon universe itself. Like they give us the reasoning of why Pokemon exists and who are the creators of Pokemon, which is Arceus, along with, Dialga and Palkia and Giratina, Dialga Time, Palkia Space, and Giratina the Antimatter. They all created this whole universe. It gives us a more extension of the story. It gave us that whole distortion world, which wasn't not introduced in the Diamond and Pearl in the originals. And then for some reason, it didn't even brought out into the BDSP, which sucks overall, and I have to play it again. And I hate the fact that when they did BDSP, they couldn't add that distortion world. It was like, why? Why wouldn't you? Didn't make sense to me that they didn't do it, and they had to do it on a chibi levels. Like, again, we can discuss this in another video. Right now, I'm putting on my top 10 Platinum. They did a redemption from whatever they did on Diamond and Pearl, and I remember that I only bought Pearl. I never bought Diamond. It's one of the few Pokemon games. I think that's where it stopped. Like, I only bought one version. Every other Pokemon version, I bought both versions. Sun and Moon was the other exception as well, where I only bought one of each. Like I bought Moon first, and then with the Ultras came, I bought Ultra Sun only. It's just one of those games that like, it ain't worth it. But they gave us one of our fan favorite pseudo legendary Garchomp, and one of the biggest fan base Pokemon, Lucario, was introduced into this game. So I mean, I get that. I'll put it in a special place in my top 10. Coming up at number 9. I kid you not, guys. I actually give this one very high, and despite what everybody says about this game, I feel it's a fantastic game so far. And the number 9 is Pokemon Legends ZA, the recent Pokemon game that we just anticipated for 2 to 3 years, more or less. We've been waiting for this game for some time. There was a lot of hype, and I wouldn't say it didn't disappoint, but at the same time, I guess you could say there was too much hype. Because like I couldn't understand the concept that, oh yeah, the whole thing is gonna be in Lumio City. It's like, oh, okay, cool. My head is like, that's gonna be a small ass map. Well, when you start playing it, it's not really a small map, but if you compare it to a larger scale of Scarlet and Violet and Sword Shield, then yes, I agree, it's a small map. I gotta say, like, the graphics itself when you play it on the Switch 2 is amazing. I like the new battle style. Like, oh my god, I hope that we get something like that for future games. Possibly we're gonna get it for the next Legends game, which allegedly it's gonna be Legends Galar. We will see when it does happen. But I really hope that they bring that up for the next year's Gen 10 Pokemon game. So Legends ZA definitely led on my top 10. I really love the game, and I cannot wait to replay it again. It definitely has replay value. I get that at first it gets a little bit repetitive and the side missions are all basically the same. Just capture a bunch of Pokemons and you're gonna get points regardless. I like that style because there is no lose-lose in this. There's no win and lose. No, it's always a win. It's always a guaranteed win that you can actually capture your Pokemon, repeat it multiple times. You're gonna get rewarded in some shape or form. So it's not a lose-lose at all. It's like, okay, it sucks that, you have to spend a lot of Pokeballs, and especially grabbing some of your teams, but I feel like it's overall good. They brought the Alphas back, and they brought Megas again, and with returning Pokemons that none of us asked for, but the fact that they give us new Megas evolutions, especially the Kalos and the ZA starters, like, I couldn't be any happier. Unfortunately, some of the designs of the Megas were just like lazy. But needless to say, even some of the majority of these Megas were lazy designs. I'm happy that they brought Megas back, and we can possibly do this in the future generational games like Gen 10 and the Champions as well, and possibly in Legends game. We'll see. We don't know. But I really am happy that we brought back Megas, and now we can have an entire team full of Megas. Like, that's crazy about it. And also, like, despite that, like, some of the controversies, like, oh, like, there's no balconies. Balconies? You're worried about the graphics, how perfect it needs to be a balcony on a Pokemon game? Really? You get the point.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
If you expect realism on Pokemon, this is not the game for you. Far from it. It's an anime-based RPG game. There's nothing realism about it. And yes, guys, don't compare this to Final Fantasy. It's two different ball games. Two different franchises. One is mainly for adults. The other one's mainly for children and families altogether. So it's like, yeah, don't expect that. And you honestly believe you care about the Valkyries? No, children doesn't care. They only care about capturing and battling Pokemon. That's pretty much it. Also, one last thing that I wanted to say is that I'm happy that in Legends ZA, they give us the ability to capture shiny Pokemon a lot more better and faster than any other generational Pokemon that I've ever played, 100%. And I'm happy that they did give us that, It's a good thing because I'm not a shiny hunter. I could care less. But if I definitely want a shiny version of a favorite Pokemon that I want for later generational games, I'm happy that I have the ability to find it much faster than the others. So that's why I put it on my number 9. Coming up with number 8, believe it or not, is Scarlet and Violet. Despite what everybody, your mothers are saying about this game, Scarlet and Violet is like, oh my god, like the glitches are hysterical, the bugs weren't black, the storyline, it's open world, some of the designs are lazy, blah, blah, blah. I get it, but I gotta say, I've been playing Scarlet Violet 6-7 times already. Not because like I fairly enjoy the storyline altogether and reach all the way to the DLCs. Like I could care less about it. It's the fact that I can literally grab any Pokemon team that I want to put in those games and just build a team and just do a trial and error, see which Pokemons I feel comfortable playing. Like I can put Hisui Pokemon in my starting team. I could put other generational Pokemons. I could put any starters in those Pokemons, and I could just build my team and then see which one gives the best results. Because the beautiful thing about Scarlet and Violet is that the fact that Scarlet Violet tackles all the typings. You know, you battle the gym battles, which are 8 badges. You battle the Titans, and then which are like 5, and then you battle the Team Star, which are like 5. I think. So it's 5, 5, and 8. Yeah, 18 in total. And each of those Pokemons or those trainers, it's overall, they specialize in a certain typing. You know, bug, fairy, dragon, ghost, fire, water. Everybody's tailored to something, to a typing. That's good because that means I can build my team to see, okay, with the team that I got, I can go face all of them. And each of my Pokemons will have different typings and you can just build your TMs or your battle moves or your natures and you can grind all the way to the very end, to the part that like, man, now you'll be able to capture some of the tougher Pokemons, and you'll end up beating the game with the DLCs all the way to the end and have all your Pokemons at level 100 easily. You don't have to grind that much. You just battle around in it. And I feel like it was much more entertaining. Again, I've battled it so many times. I love to play the game, despite some of the other things that people are saying and the storyline. Overall, I just like that I can, change teams as much as possible and decided like, all right, I like this team. And it also gives me the opportunity to reset the game and capture multiple of the legendary Pokemons or the hard Pokemons that are hard to capture. Like for example, getting Gouging Fire and Raging Bull, I can get it like I have it like 3-4 times already, which is like most of the time it's only once per save file. So it's like, okay, done and done. I got the Pokemons that I wanted. See, not too hard, right? Also, I like Ursaluna Blood Moon. That version of Hisui or Ursaluna itself, Blood Moon, it's like, wow, good job. So that's why I have it right up there. Moving on to number 7, I gotta have to give it to the ones that without this version, we don't have ZA. And if you guys already know, it's definitely Pokemon X and Y. 100% without X and Y, we will never have ZA. X and Y is what started the revolution of gameplay with Pokemon overall. It's the reason why everybody loves Mega Evolutions. X and Y brought that for the first time. Nobody knew what it is. Everybody was just making memes about it. Say it's like, oh, it's now they're just Digimoning it. Charizard, Digimon 2, Mega Charizard X. That was my impression of Digimon. No hate, love. Needless to say, and then it's also, I think it was the first 3DS game for the Pokemon franchise on the what is it? This is the 5th? No, the 6th? Is it the? No, yeah, it's the 6th generation Pokemon. And the first time they brought it from the DS to the 3DS. And they show us the 3D dimensional. So it's not as a 2D dimensional like all the other games that we've been seeing and we've been playing it. No, now it's all 3D and you can see the characters itself. So it just gives us another light to it. There were so many pros about playing this game itself alone. I played it multiple times as well. I put it up there in number 7 because I wasn't a fan of the starters at the beginning. And as soon as I heard that we were getting the Kanto starters, and when I bought those games for the first time, I remember I was able to get Torchic as well. And additionally, so it was just like, too many fire Pokemons on my team. Like, oh, there's a Mega Evolution of Blaziken, Mega Evolution of Charizard. It's just like, oh, there's too many fires, And there's just like the new fairy was cool, but at the same time, I'm like, do we really need a new typing? Like, do we really need a new typing to kill off, dark Pokemons and dragons? Like, dragons die by themselves in my eyes. We don't need another one. But needless to say, it is what it is. Moving on to number 6, 100%. I wished it couldn't be on number 5, but it deserves its spot right here, number 6. And and it is Sword and Shield. I love to play Sword and Shield. It's the first official gen Pokemon game in the Switch. I'm not counting Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, because whatever that thing is, it's a bad remake, and I hate it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you do. So bringing Gen 8 and the fact that they're bringing like a new style, they're involving the quote-unquote open world style-ish Pokemon, which led to Scarlet Violet and Legends Arceus NZA. That game alone is what, all right, we can do this, then we can definitely do this on here. Since we nailed it on this game, we're gonna do it on these other games and future projects as well. And I like that fact because it made it a little bit more realism to fact like, okay, it's not all the time we're gonna have a level 2 Caterpie on the walls. Like, no, sometimes you may encounter a freaking Nidoking at level 64 out of nowhere and wants to rampage at you for no reason. What? Okay, it gives a little intimidation, but no, I'm glad that they actually did that. And I'm glad overall that they did a good job for it. I mean, they gave us the whole 8 badges, and the fact that it was like very sporty like it gives you like that anticipation. It's like, oh, I cannot wait to be the next Pokemon champions, because there's like, they build it on stadiums, you got people cheering, the whole Gigantamax. I could care less, it's like, it's a nice little gimme. I hate that they took away Mega for that particular reason. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, so whatever, it's good. Like, it's the fact that I was able to battle with a crowd. It's like, oh, this is awesome. And they did a great job with the graphics and the battle simulations, and even how Pokemon do certain moves and they, react to it. I wish Scarlet Violet could have done with that, but they half-assed on Scarlet Violet, I'll be honest with you on that. Yeah, and then they give us the DLCs, which is like the first time in where Pokemon decided to like, all right, we'll give you some extra content. And with it, we were introduced to to other generational Pokemons, and as well as we were able to use the Galarian Trio Birds, which is like, to me, that's my favorite version of the Trio Birds. The Galarian version is like 100%. I love Galar Zapdos. Oh my god. And Galar Mortis, 100%. So I wish I would have put this game on number 5, honestly, because it has a lot of replay value. I replayed this game so many times, but unfortunately it's not. It's number 6. It definitely has its flaws here and there. They didn't brought all the Pokemons, which is fine. Gives a much more competitive edge for us, makes us more strategic about it. I know I did a Dragon team. It was fire. Dragonvish and Arctozolt, best Dragon types ever. We need to bring them back in future gens, 100%. Needless to say, my number 5 is none other than the original game that started it all, Red, Blue, and Yellow. That's right, not Leaf Green, not Fire Red, because they're good, because it was just a color version of the originals. Needless to say, I gotta give it to these games, the original that started it all. 100% I have to give Red, Blue, and Yellow their props. Yellow, I add Yellow because it's definitely there's nothing added to that game. It's the same games on Red and Blue. It's just you got Pikachu on your side, and you're able to have all the Kanto starters, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle in that game. So it's not like if you get Red, you need to get Blues so they can trade off and whatnot, stuff like that. No, like you can have like majority of the Pokemon in Yellow, so you should be fine by it, and you can play Yellow all around, and it's fine. That's why I put it out there. But obviously, I gotta give props to the OGs that started it all. It's because of it we have a monster franchise. They are what they are. We are where we are. And I gotta give it to Pokemon because it's been since I got introduced to playing that game back in 1996 or 97. Whenever I purchased it, I've been Pokemon fan nonstop since the very beginning, and I have never stopped being a fan, and I loved it. That's why Charizard and Gengar and Gyarados are like one of my OG Pokemon starters, Pokemons that I love to play overall, So I have to put it in my top 5, at least somewhere. Otherwise, it would be Sword Shield. But needless to say, my top 4, one that beats the original, is none other than Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Yes, I love Hoenn 100%. I wish I could put Emerald in it as well in the top 5s, and so as Ruby and Sapphire. I really love playing those games, especially since those are the first gen Pokemons to have on the Game Boy Advance. And I remember that it was like 100 new Pokemons and the starters. Like, I love the fact that the starters itself, like, you can choose which is a starter and you're not gonna go wrong. It's amazing. They're all amazing designs, and I like the story itself. But again, the story ends there. It ends right there. Whereas the remakes version, ORAS, they expanded the series itself. Like, they expanded the lore even more, and they give more megas in that region. And that's where we got all the megas for the Hoenn starters. Like, we got the Blaze. We already got Mega Blaziken from the free X and Y game when you purchase it, but we wanted the other two, which is Sceptile and Swampert, and we got it, and they look amazing. Finally, they give redemption to Sceptile, which is one of my favorite grass type Pokemon starters, and they give him the dragon type, and he looks sick. And he's a dragon, a grass dragon, which we need to explore that more, since we only got Hydropolis, one of the tops right there. And they give us more storyline. They give us a lot more story, and overall, just revisiting it and having the fact that you can actually have megas in your team now. Now you can play the whole region with a mega team as well. Not to mention, you can have a free Latias or Latios Pokemon in your team right from the start. You don't have to do much other than just like capture, and that's it. He's gonna join the team. That's fire. And once you get Latios and Latias into your party, you can literally travel Hoenn all around. You don't need to do fly. You can just travel around and you can see it off in the sky. Really sick, really cool. I love that. That was very creative on their behalf. And because of it, it made you explore other sections of Hoenn that you didn't know it existed there. And that's how we were able to find other legendary and mythical Pokemons from those little Hoopa rings, that they, for some reason, they're just randomly there. And the post game where you're like facing Rayquaza. Yes, it's Rayquaza. Not Rayquaza. There's a story behind it post game, like the Ed Delta episode, which I feel like that was amazing. They did a great job out of it. And you face Rayquaza. And then afterwards, you face the Arceus, which was like, oh my god, this is the battle of the century, type stuff. And obviously, you get Mega Rayquaza. Like, how sick is that, And you have the ability to capture the Arceus as well. So that's why I put it like right there on the top, like 100%. I fairly enjoy the game, really did. So that's why it's my number 4. Coming up to number 3, as you guys might have guessed it, there's only 3 left, and this one, believe it or not, it was a surprise for me when I say I love this one very much, more than I anticipated, and it's Legends Arceus. As my top 3, honestly, Game Freak did a 180 on the game. They throw this spin-off, throw it on the wall, see if it sticks. They thought it was not going to do well, and believe it or not, it did better. And because I feel like it's not your traditional gameplay from every generation that you normally expect. It's something completely different with completely new story, new region, or should I say past region. And also like the whole gameplay aspect, the battle system is so different. Like I think like overall they did a great job on doing the spin-off, and now because it's so popular, that it's the reason why we got ZA and potentially later in the future Galar and others. Like hopefully we get Johto and Unova as well. I think those games need to be explored on a Legends title 100%. It's definitely one of my favorite spin-offs, and it's I know it's not a main series game, but it kind of is, because what it's doing, continuing the lore of Sinnoh, and the whole storyline. It was like challenging. It was just like, okay, now I need to adapt myself, and the Pokemon catches and whatnot. The missions were not very dull. They were actually challenging. So it was just a great game overall. So I gotta give props to Game Freak from trying something new for the first time in however long, and it succeeded. I hope they continue to do it like that, and not do what they did with ZA, which they scale it down. I hope that the next Legends will be just like Galar. Like if it is Galar, I hope it's like Arceus, that you can travel a lot more outside of just one small place. Yeah, I hope it's a region. But that's not my number 3. Coming out to the number 2. Ooh, and this was a very, very hard one. Honestly, it really was hard for me to decide which one's gonna be number 1, 2. But I said it like, it is in my heart. I know what I like to play. I know how I enjoyed it. And I gotta give to number 2, Black and White and Black and White 2. That's right, Gen 5 Pokemon's is my number 2. I love that series. I love that Gen 5. I feel like it was a refresher from the crap they did with Diamond and Pearl, and the designs of Gen 5 were amazing. The typings as well. The starters, again, choose any starter and you'll be satisfied altogether. Honestly, it was just amazing. I love the storyline, and I love how whatever the storyline happened on Black and White, it continues the story on Black and White too, but with a different character. So it's like now you're a different main character, but the story is still there, like from the original. So even though it's its own game, you definitely need to play the first one for you to understand what's going on in the second in a way. And I like how the whole thing transpired, how it was challenging, how you were able to strategize. Because I remember in Black and White, it was 150 Pokemon, new Pokemon that you get to play and choose. You couldn't get the national debts after you beat the game. So imagine you have to strategize with whatever Pokemon you got, which I appreciate when they do that. I really do. That didn't happen on Black and White 2. They actually froze some of the national Pokemons from the start as well. So that's why I put it on number 2, because it's like, all right. That was probably my one down thing out of it, but it's not a buzzkill overall. I just love the design itself. And believe it or not, I feel like they need to be a remake of Unova, 100%. Either there could be a new Black and White remake, even though I don't know how they're gonna tie in those two stories into one, or they can do a Legends Unova. Either way, they need to have more love. Other than bringing us the TCG that ended the Scarlet Violet series, nah, guys, we need something big than that, But that's why it's my number 2, because my number 1 overall is none other than Gen 2 Pokemon, but not the original Gold and Silver, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Yes, I know what everybody's thinking about it, and I know some people that know me is like, but I thought Gold and Silver is your favorite. Yes, it is my number 1 Pokemon game. However, I prefer Heart Gold and Soul Silver, mainly because of the gameplay, the lore, the story, and the graphics overall, and the fact that your Pokemon can follow you. Put your first Pokemon on your party, and he's gonna be following you out no matter where you go. And it's sick to see that Pokemon, behind you, following through your journey. It's awesome to me, But essentially, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's almost the same thing with it's the same thing as Gold and Silver. That's why I put it up there as my number 1, and it's because they did a great job with it. Honestly, they did a way better graphics, same storyline, but only with much more expansion into it. I feel like it was just much more fun to play, and you can do so much even after post game. And the reason why I say that Gen 2 overall is my number 1, Heart Gold Soul Silver, is because Gold and Silver, the original, it's the only Pokemon game that allowed you to travel to 2 regions. So you first defeat the first region, Johto, and once you're done and beat the Elite Four, they say, hey, go to Kanto, the original region for the original Pokemon, and beat those 8 badges. And they're all different characters. They're all different badges. So it's oh, okay. So a lot more to grind it. And so I love that post game, the fact that I was able to travel on the 2 regions. And I really wish that they could have done it on other Pokemon games. Maybe that's why I liked Sword and Shield and Scarlet Violet a lot, because I was able to travel quote unquote small little ass regions. That's literally my top 10 favorite Pokemon games and why I choose them, Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and do you guys love the list? Do you think it was creative? Do you think it was a fantastic, or you guys hate it for some unknown reason? Anyways, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and what are your top 10 Pokemon games in any order, Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for your weekly videos. And if you guys got a specific topic you want me to cover it, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to talk about it in the next video. So guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.